Well, today, a 94-year-old Minnesota woman's case was heard at the United States Supreme Court. This case began when Geraldine Tyler got behind on her taxes. That went on for 5 years, so at that point, Hennepin County seized her home, and then Hennepin County sold it. And state law says the government gets to keep all money from a home sale like that, which Tyler is arguing all the way up to the Supreme Court. That's not constitutional. This is complicated, so Morgan went to try and explain all of this for us today. Hi, Morgan.
Yeah, a lot of reading today. Yeah. Minnesota isn't the only state that has this type of law. Legal experts that I spoke to today believe that there is actually a good chance that the Supreme Court could side with Ms. Tyler through overturning this ruling.
Geraldine Tyler says that she bought her North Minneapolis condo in 1999, but in 2015, Hennepin County took the title to the one-bedroom apartment because she didn't pay property taxes for 5 years, totaling up to $15,000, including interest and penalties. The county then sold her condo for $40,000. Under Minnesota law, the county gets more than just the $15,000 that was owed in taxes. It gets the extra $25,000 from the sale of her place too. Tyler argues that this violates the Constitution's prohibition of taking private property without just compensation.
This is a fascinating case. Governments have really broad powers for taxation.
Professor David Schultz says the main question is
the government, when they take your property for back taxes, entitled to all the, let's say, the value and equity of your property, or are they only entitled to the equivalent of the amount of back taxes owed?
So it's complicated.
Attorney Stephen Wells explained the county's argument.
Really, if she had 5 years to try to remedy the tax deficiency that she had, she could have sold the property at any point.
He pointed out during the argument today, conservative and liberal justices raised the idea of the county seizing $1 million property over a tiny tax bill. However,
they very clearly were worried about unintended consequences,
such as impacts on other government forfeiture practices like eminent domain. Hennepin County sent CARE a lengthy statement explaining that Tyler ignored options to pay back taxes, like enrolling in a senior property tax deferral program and also choosing not to sell the property, saying the taxpayer should not be the default realtor, property manager, and auctioneer. The Pacific Legal Foundation representing Tyler, in a statement sent to CARE on today's argument, said the questioning indicates the court is taking seriously the Bill of Rights protection of property as a key defense of civil rights, especially for vulnerable property owners like Ms. Tyler.
Under normal circumstances, I would say she probably doesn't have a strong case. However, this is a court that's much more sympathetic to property rights.
We also want to note that Steve Wells, who we interviewed for this story, has represented CARE 11 in prior cases unrelated to today's Supreme Court hearing. CARE requested the number of tax forfeited properties Hennepin County has seen in the last 10 years, which totaled up to 769. Now, I'm still waiting to hear clarification on how many of these properties were sold. Also, there's not been any explanation to why Ms. Tyler stopped paying her taxes. And by the way, Jana, another thing too, I know I'm talking so much, but both liberal and conservative groups have filed briefs supporting Tyler. So it'll be interesting to see what the final ruling is.
It's pretty interesting to hear David Schultz say that she's a sympathetic person here. I mean, she's 94 years old. Does her age factor into this?
You know, that's one thing that the court seemed to sympathize with. When I was talking to these various different experts, they just kept on going back to the fact that she is a senior in this position. Okay. So, like we said, it's going to be interesting to see that ruling come out in May.
Thank you so much, Morgan. Appreciate it.